Hello, everybody, and welcome to Technology Today for August 17th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 33. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, and you're watching Technology Today. Today, we're going to be talking about our brains contain lithium, alternative carbon carrier, a tiny brain grown in a lab, not mine. It's much tinier. Can't be used for science. Tackling machine learning's black box, and parasitic worms in Chesapeake Bay to solve a problem. That and more. Hope you enjoy the show. It's a deeper look at science and technology. I don't know how deep I'll be able to go today, though. So, this is a time machine episode. See you soon. Everything's powered by ohmTown.com. Go check it out. It's a news aggregator that helps me manage my information overload. All right, let's get going. This first article says that our brains contain lithium and its loss might help drive Alzheimer's, according to a study. Ed Cara over at Gizmodo put this article together. The deck statement says researchers have found evidence in mice and human brains that the element lithium could be key to a healthy brain. Yeah, possibly. Scientists at Harvard Medical School led the study, published Wednesday in Nature, by studying human brain samples in mice. They found evidence that our brains naturally contain the element lithium and that its deficiency can help explain the damage caused by Alzheimer's. The findings are well supported and may have uncovered an important link to the neurological disorder, an outside expert told Gizmodo. The study researchers have performed detailed and well-designed studies to investigate how low lithium levels are associated with Alzheimer's at the diagnostic protein, cellular, and gene levels, according to Timothy Chang, a neurologist at the University of California, Los Angeles, who's not involved with the study. Chang's also director of the California Alzheimer's Disease Center at UCLA. With the help of existing projects that collected post-mortem tissue samples, they compared levels of around 30 metals in the brains of people who died along varying stages of cognitive health. The only major difference they found was lithium. People with cognitively healthy brains had relatively high levels of lithium, whereas those with Alzheimer's had much lower levels. Importantly, this loss of lithium was apparent even in people who only experienced mild memory problems before dying. Interesting. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Alternative carbon carrier technology could improve both oil production and carbon storage. A new method for enhanced oil recovery proposed by researchers at the University of Texas at Austin is showing promising results in modeling studies, producing more oil, storing more carbon, and doing so more safely than conventional enhanced oil recovery methods. The article is by the University of Texas at Austin. It's published over at techexplore.com, but it's edited and reviewed by Stephanie Baum and Robert Egan, respectively. And let me do something real quick. Okay, so the trifecta of benefits stems from alternative carbon carrier technology research being led at UT. Alternative carbon carriers are chemical compounds specifically engineered to store larger quantities of carbon molecules in subsurface formations. When these compounds are synthesized from carbon dioxide, it can help optimize the transportation, utilization, and storage of this greenhouse gas. In a study that applied the technology to enhance oil recovery scenarios, researchers at the UT Jackson School of Geosciences and Cockrell School of Engineering found that the new carbon carrier method recovered up to 19.5% more oil and stored 17.5 more carbon than conventional enhanced oil recovery methods. It says basically the technique is to maximize oil recovery while also increasing the amount and security of carbon storage. But they don't really say how. They just say it shows promising results in modeling studies. Does it say where it is? Formate is a carbon-based molecule that can be synthesized from CO2 gas. It's more readily stored in the rock pores than a comparable quantity of CO2 gas in the same conditions, according to Okuno. So really what this is they're changing the form of CO2 into a formate species like sodium formate or potassium formate. And frankly, it's just bigger and getting stuck in the rock. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Across the board, the study shows promise resulting for EOR with carbon carriers. However, making it a reality for industry to refine and develop further will require more steps, says Okuno. For one, formate is not yet being produced from CO2 in the quantities needed to sustain EOR. Okay. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. This is the little bit that we aggregate. This tiny brain grown in a lab could revolutionize mental health research. Johns Hopkins researchers grew a mini human brain with connected regions. Oh, interesting. Okay. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University have developed a groundbreaking lab-grown brain model that includes both neural tissue and early-stage blood vessels. So soon enough, we're going to be growing a brain that we can attach to our AI so that it become a artificial general intelligence. Johns Hopkins University put the article together. It's posted over at SciTech Daily. And essentially, researchers at Johns Hopkins University have developed a groundbreaking lab-grown brain model. This innovative whole brain organoid could help open up paths for understanding complex mental health conditions like autism. They say that they've made the next generation of brain organoids. At what point is a brain sentient? It's just not big enough to communicate, but maybe it can communicate. I don't know. Most brain organoids that you see in papers have one brain region like the cortex or the hindbrain or midbrain. They've grown a rudimentary whole brain organoid that they call the multi-region brain organoid, or Mr. Bow. I'm going to call it Mr. Bow from now on. Published in Advanced Science, the study is among the first to demonstrate a lab-created brain model that incorporates tissue from multiple brain regions working together. The human cell-based model offers a promising alternative to traditional animal research and could provide new insights into conditions like schizophrenia. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Theoretical particle physicists tackle on machine learning's black box. From self-driving cars to facial recognition, modern life is growing more dependent on machine learning, a type of artificial intelligence that learns from data sets without explicit programming. Lisa Potter from University of Utah put the article together. Lisa Locke and Robert Egan edited and reviewed it, respectively. It's published over at techexplore.com. There is no deck statement, but it says, despite its omnipresence in society, we're just beginning to understand the mechanisms driving the technology. In a recent study, Shang Kang, aka Kevin Shang, assistant professor at the University of Utah's Department of Physics and Astronomy, demonstrated how physicists can play an important role in unraveling its mysteries. Quote, people are used to say machine learning is a black box. You input a lot of data, and at some point, it reasons and speaks and makes decisions like humans do. They said here in this article, it feels like magic because we don't really know how it works, says Shang. Now, we're using AI across many critical sectors of society. We have to understand what our machine learning models are actually doing, or really doing. This is a quote, by the way. Why something works or why something doesn't work, and I agree. The traditional way to program a computer is with detailed instructions for completing a task. Say you wanted software that can spot irregularities in a CT scan, a programmer would have to write step-by-step protocols for countless potential scenarios. But a machine learning system can actually take a bunch of images, and if anything shows a positive because it's been flagged with the training elements that this is a positive because of this, that, and the other, machine learning can automatically start scanning stuff and go, yeah, that is a positive or that is a negative, or what the percentage of risk is. So the machine learning model looks simple. Input data, black box of computing, output that's the function of it, right? So being trained as a physicist, they would like to understand better. In a new paper published in the journal Machine Learning, Science and Technology, Shang solved a proposed model's scaling laws, which describe how the system will perform at larger and larger scales. It says it's not easy. The calculations require adding up to an infinite number of terms. Shang said they applied a method that physicists use to track hundreds of thousands of terms called Feynman diagrams. Richard Feynman invented the technique in the 1940s to deal with hopelessly complicated calculations of elementary particles in the quantum realm. Instead of writing down algebraic equations, Feynman drew simple diagrams. Every line and vertex in the diagram represents a value. So they published a paper. In that paper, the physicists studied their model in a particular limit. Shang was able to solve the model beyond that limit, obtaining new and more precise scaling laws that govern its behavior. And our last article for today's Technology Today is parasitic worms could help save Chesapeake Bay's blue crab fishery. Parasitic worms on blue crab eggs may reveal a crab's spawning history. Their resilience and varied salinities make them promising for fishery monitoring. Parasitic worms that feed on crab eggs may seem unsettling, but for blue crabs in the Chesapeake Bay, they are a common part of life. John Wallace, Virginia Institute of Marine Science, put the article together. It's published over at SciTech Daily. So the latest winter dredge survey conducted by the Batten School of Coastal and Marine Scientists and VIMS in partnership with the Maryland Department of Natural Resources revealed record low blue crab numbers in the bay. These results have raised concerns among fishery stakeholders and underscore the urgent need for innovative tools to support both ecological sustainability and economic viability, an area where this research may prove valuable. Other species of carcinonemerts cannot survive in salinity below 20 parts per thousand, which is a common occurrence in the bay's tributaries and during high precipitation events. We found this worm to be much tougher than other species. So for the study, Schneider partnered with William and Mary undergraduate Alex Pomeroy, the lead author. Under the guidance of Professor Jeffrey Shields, the team collected worms from blue crabs and exposed them to a broad range of salinity conditions. The results showed that worms performed well in moderate to high salinity levels, 20 to 30 parts per thousand. Surprisingly, they were also able to adapt and persist in salinity of 10 parts and could survive and recover after brief exposure up to 39 hours to salinity levels as low as 5 PSU. So parts per thousand. So the implications for the fishery management is that blue crabs hold significant value for both commercial and recreational species in Chesapeake Bay. Female crab have never spawned are classified as primiparous, while those who have produced multiple clutches have referred to as multiparous. Research conducted by Schneider and colleagues at the Batten School found that female blue crabs generate the largest number of offspring in their first clutch, with reproductive potential, or fecundity, decreasing in later clutches. So their work also revealed that all crabs spawning in June were primiparous, whereas most individuals spawning later in the season were multiparous. So the information helps managers understand the impacts of commercial and recreational harvest on spawning demographics and overall composition of the population before spawning season. So they basically are talking about the salinity tolerance, hyposaline stress recovery, and survival of the nemertine worm, Carcinomertes carcinophila, in relation to its host, the Atlantic blue crab, Calanectis sapidus, I guess is how it's pronounced. All right, let's just call it a day for Technology Today. And we're going to go on to FourWheelTech, which is the last of our 6 shows that should have been done on the weekend, but I did not. So stay tuned. We'll see you in a little bit.